Mangwana ni Malelepo Fukenjani Dumela Trekwas Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show that remains your portal into Africa's most potent stories. Today, we're going to be bringing you the news videos of the week stemming from Namibia. But prior to that, these are some of the top stories we'll be looking at. Zimbabwe confirms 15 nationals killed after recruitment into Russian war. Africans face higher UK visa costs from April 2026 under new fee changes. Senegal launches legal battle against AFCON title removal at CAS. And International Olympic Committee limits female category to biological females. DSTV 285, GoTV 25, OneUp2.com, Network Media Hub, and NTVAfrica.my.na is where you can watch Africa Good Morning. My name is Ashwin Berry. Top stories shortly.
Hello, salam, sabona. Welcome to Africa Beyond Borders. We missed you guys so much, and we're so excited to share with you guys our season 1 for 2026. You can expect fun stories from Africans across the globe, all here to share stories about culture and celebrating their identity. Catch us on DSTV channel 285, GoTV channel 25, and you can stream every episode on OneUp2.com.
Let's get into our top stories. Zimbabwe has confirmed that 15 of its nationals died after being recruited to fight for Russia in its ongoing war with Ukraine, with more than 60 still on the front lines. Information Minister Jemu Soda said the Zimbabweans had been lured by shadowy agencies offering lucrative jobs abroad through social media platforms used as their primary hunting ground. He described the operation as a sophisticated scheme of deception, exploitation, and human trafficking that has already led to loss of life. The government is now in talks with Russian authorities to ensure the bodies are repatriated and surviving nationals return home safely. This marks the first time Zimbabwe has acknowledged that dozens of its citizens are serving in Russia's military. Soda urged Zimbabweans to exercise caution when considering overseas job offers and to verify opportunities through official channels. He added that recruiters often disappear once individuals are injured, captured, or killed, leaving families without support or information about their loved ones. Here is the minister.
Our citizens are being preyed upon by unscrupulous individuals and networks who operate with complete disregard for human life. These traffickers use sophisticated methods, often leveraging social media platforms as their primary hunting ground. They lure unsuspecting Zimbabweans with false promises of lucrative employment opportunities, typically advertised as professional work, logistic support, or private contracting roles in foreign countries. The offer of employment may sound lucrative, but in many cases, the money is not given and the recruiters are nowhere to be found when something goes wrong. It is unfortunate that some of our migrants end up in very difficult predicaments that include sexual exploitation, forced labor, getting stranded in unknown destinations, or ending up in war zones.
Now, we know a similar situation unfolded in Kenya, with one of their ministers traveling to Russia after Kenyans had also been illegally recruited into the Russia war. And Unfortunately, it is illegal to be conscripted into the army of another nation as a Kenyan national. However, amnesty has been guaranteed for those Kenyan nationals who will be coming from Russia. But we do believe that Russia has got a lot to answer for with regards to the recruitment of Africans into their war, especially considering that Russia itself already has a very robust population. But we stick with African issues. Thousands of Africans seeking to travel, work, or study in the United Kingdom will face higher visa costs from April 2026 following new government increases that have sparked debate over their financial impact. The UK will raise visa fees for travelers, workers, and students from 8 April 2026, with the government stating the changes are necessary to cover processing costs and sustain the immigration system. Africans are expected to be disproportionately affected due to weaker local currencies and their large share among UK migrants. Short-term work and student visas are all increasing by about 6 to 7%, raising upfront costs for applicants. Visit visas for up to 6 months have risen from £127 to £135, while longer-term visas now cost £31 to £69 more. Skilled worker visas range from £819 to £1,618, depending on duration, and student visas have increased from £524 to £558. These changes add pressure on families, students, and professionals as demand for migration remains high. Senegal's Football Federation has vowed to mount what it called a crusade against the decision to strip the country of its African Cup of Nations title, launching an appeal at the Court of Arbitration for Sport in Paris. Abdoulaye Fall, president of the Senegalese Football Federation, described the ruling as an administrative robbery and pledged a moral and legal fight against the decision. Lawyer Juan de Dios Crespo Perez argued that the ruling violates the laws of the game and undermines the principle that refereeing decisions are final, warning that future tournaments could be decided in law firms rather than on the pitch. Senegal were ruled to have forfeited the final in Rabat on January 18 after walking off in protest at a potentially decisive penalty awarded to Morocco, before returning to win 1-0 in extra time after Morocco took that penalty and missed. The legal team is seeking to accelerate proceedings, noting that such cases typically take 9 to 12 months, though all parties must agree to a faster timeline. And I suppose what further highlights Senegal's rebellion to this decision is the fact that they're going to be playing a friendly in France against Peru this weekend, and they have every intention of parading the AFCON trophy. We'll be giving you that update on Monday. on Monday, rather. Now, we end with the Olympics. The International Olympic Committee has approved a new policy on the protection of the female category in Olympic sport, set to apply from the LA 28 Olympic Games onwards and not retroactively. The policy states that eligibility for female category events at the Olympic Games and other IOC events will be limited to biological females determined through a one-time SRY gene screening. The IOC says the approach is based on scientific evidence and expert guidance aimed at protecting fairness, safety, and integrity in competition. Athletes who test negative for the SRY gene will permanently meet eligibility requirements, while those who test positive, including XY, transgender, and androgen-sensitive XY-DSD athletes, would not qualify for the female category, but may compete in other classifications such as male or open categories. The IOC noted that the screening method is considered accurate and minimally intrusive, using saliva, cheek swab, or blood samples, and emphasized that athletes will only need to undergo the test once in their lifetime. Here is IOC President Kirsty Coventry with more.
Today, we, the International Olympic Committee, have published a policy on the protection of the female category. I understand that this is a very sensitive topic. As a former athlete, I passionately believe in the rights of all Olympians to take part in fair competition. The policy that we have announced is based on science and it has been led by medical experts with the best interests of athletes at its heart. The scientific evidence is very clear. Male chromosomes give performance advantages in sports that rely on strength, power, or endurance. At the Olympic Games, even the smallest margins can be the difference between victory and defeat. So it's absolutely clear that it would not be fair for biological males to compete in the female category. In addition, in some sports, it would simply not be safe. Every athlete must be treated with dignity and respect, and athletes will only need to be screened once in their lifetime. There must be clear education around the process, with counseling available alongside expert medical advice. The IOC recognizes the importance of widespread participation in grassroots and recreational sports programs and the impact that sport has in society. However, the Olympic Games has a focus on elite sport, and in elite sport, we must ensure the fairness, safety, and integrity of all competitions within the Games. I know that there will be many questions, and the IOC will work with all of our stakeholders to address these over the coming months. Publication of the policy is just one step in the process. There will be much more information to come.
All right, those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning on the 27th of March 2026, which also happens to be a Friday. Shortly, we're going to be swinging into the news videos of the week stemming from Namibia, but prior to that, let's have a look at the weather.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises, from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative sport tourism.
All right, starting with our news videos of the week from Namibia, the Namibia Foundation handed over medical equipment to the Ministry of Health and Social Services in Walvis Bay in support of the Oshuarongo State Hospital and Katima Mulilo State Hospital.
It is a powerful demonstration of what can be achieved when we work together. It shows us that a healthier Namibia isn't just a distant hope. It is a real future that we are building with this donation. Behind it is saving lives for real. Incubators will know what they can do in a hospital setting. This shows a strong partnership between the government between the public enterprises that the Namibia Foundation is part and parcel of Namibia can do, and what the private sector and the non-governmental organizations and development partners could do in order for us to impact the lives and change development outcomes for the better. This donation is well targeted, is well thought out, quite impactful and targeted on where it is going. Director of Ceremonies, allow me to highlight the real difference this equipment will make in the lives of our people. One, their neonatal incubators will become the first safe haven of our tiniest, most fragile citizens. Imagine a premature baby, just days old, fighting for every breath. These incubators will provide the warmth and the perfect environment they need.
Now, the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform, Inga Zamwani, has commended the progress of the Hope Farm project during the official livestock handover by the Swakop Uranium Foundation in the Erongo region. Speaking at the event, she highlighted the successful completion of Phase 1 and 2, noting that since its inauguration in July 2025, the project has empowered 48 farmers, including 22 women and 26 men. The initiative marks a significant step in strengthening cooperative farming and rural livelihoods, with plans underway to expand the program to other regions. Now, this video is from Erongo, delivered by Leena Ndakevondjo.
We inaugurated Hope Farm project, and today we are here to see the progress that has been done and to celebrate successful completion of Phase 1 and 2 of this wonderful project, which has benefited since its inauguration last year 48 farmers, of which 22 are women and 26 are men. On 26 July 2025, we were here. That moment marked the beginning of a bold and a hopeful journey in the implementation of a transformative project for our cooperatives and their members. Today, we are here to see how that milestone has grown into measurable progress, as you have heard from the CEO, and as we mark the end of Hope Farm project in the Erongo region before we move to the next region.
Now, Miss Universe 1992 winner Michelle McLean marked the final day of Miss Universe Sisterhood 1992 reunion at Michelle McLean Primary School, and this was in Oshomwise. The reunion, which ran from 14 to 23 March, officially came to an end. A total of 14 former Miss Universe 1992 contestants visited Namibia, with the event serving as the official closing. Now, speaking at the event, Minister of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Art and Culture, Sanet Steenkamp, highlighted the importance of education beyond the classroom. And this video is by Jorge de Santos.
Us in our country. It reflects a sisterhood that is grounded in values, in mutual respect, and in a shared commitment to uplift each other. And today, you have chosen to invest your time, your presence, and also your stories in our children. Being here with us today, being with these little ones. They might not understand the impact right now, but when they grow up, they'll understand what this all means. Deeply grateful, that's what we are. As an educator of heart, I remain equally aware that education extends far beyond our classrooms. It's about shaping minds, It's about building the confidence of our learners and also unlocking the possibilities that are within. Schools such as the Michelle McLean Primary School serve as an institution of learning, but it's also a place of becoming. That is where dreams begin to take form, where courage and bravery are nurtured, and where young people start to believe that their futures can actually stretch far beyond the present circumstances. All of you come from a different family, a different value system, probably that you connected over the years, but you come from families of strength. There must be someone in a family that served as an example, and there are families today that serve as example to our children, and then we have yourself. And
President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah has clarified that mothers in Namibia can now register their children without the presence of the father, following the removal of previous legal requirements. Speaking at the inauguration of the new Ministry of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security head office in Kurenkuru, Nandi-Ndaitwah said the change is aimed at ending delays in birth registration and ensuring that every child can access their constitutional rights from birth. The president also commended the ministry for completing the project on time and within budget after its groundbreaking in 2024. She encouraged fathers to remain actively involved in their children's lives, but stressed that no child should be left without documentation due to their absence. Here are the words of President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah during that groundbreaking ceremony. Not groundbreaking ceremony really, but the initiation of the new Home Affairs in Nkurenkuru.
There is persistent challenge as people registering their children late. This thing must become something of the past. Our biggest program was the law that required the father to be there for a child to be registered. For us to comply with this constitutional requirement, we have now removed that. The presence of the father, it's very, very important. And I'm appealing to the boy child. I'm appealing to the fathers. Be present and enjoy the pleasure of your child coming to this earth. And then immediately go to the office in the hospital and register. But for those who do not to experience that, you and me as mothers, we cannot run away from that. Because we are the one carrying the baby, we are the one who are giving birth to.
Well, those have been the news videos of the week stemming from Namibia. As you've been saying throughout the week, we are always talking about CST, the Creative Sport and Tourism Expo. That's going to be from 2 to 4 September at the Hage Geingob Stadium. And next week, we're going to be giving you a full segment strictly focused on this industry. However, those have been our stories, not just for today, but for the week on Africa Good Morning. Next week, Monday, Mike Suchula joins us from Lusaka, Zambia, to deliver the Zambia report. And of course, we'll be bringing you the latest stories stemming from the continent. DSTV 285, Core TV 25, 1up2.com, Network Media Hub, and ntvafrica.my.na is where you can watch the show. My name is Ashwin Berry. Suraj Wakadaka.